I'm not ready to start yet. I'm going to let some people come in, but I am going to ask you that if you are sitting by yourself, if you could like scoot next to somebody, that would be great, because we're going to be doing some collaboration and sharing during this panel. It's going to be more workshop style, so that would be wonderful if you could.
And also, if some of you then decide to leave because we said that, we're not friends anymore. So.
Yeah, we're just going to have to unfriend you.
I mean, that was a feat. Sorry, I shouldn't bring that up. Twitch Pulse, rest in peace. This is nice.
It gets very quiet once that door is closed.
It's very scary. It's extremely
It's
scary.
ready. All right, we'll make sure that everybody's all set. Do make sure that you do grab a booklet and a pen as you come in. I really love this intimate feeling that we have today, and this is really good. I like it.
I also like how we have the rule breakers in the way back, just sitting on their own.
Yeah.
That was me too.
There's always a rebel, one or two.
At least one or two.
Okay. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll get started, since it is 12:30 and we are going to be presenting this to you right now. I do want to say thank you very much for coming to this panel. I know that out of all of the things that you could be doing at this moment in time, you did decide to come to our panel about reaching your goals, or reaching your goal, however many it may be. It's totally transferable. And I wanted to thank Twitch for giving us the opportunity to do this for you guys, because at this point, it is all about you, and it is not about us. We are here to help you and to guide you in whatever goal you want to achieve in your journey. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide, and if you guys could please present who you are, that would be amazing. We're going to do introductions. So I'm just going to start with myself, and then we'll just go down the line if that's okay with everybody. Okay, so my name is Jessica Manroe. I am known as Streamer Curial, and I am the One Up on Cancer Promotions Manager. I am also a wearer of many, many hats. I do Nashville Community Meetup. I am the League of Legends coach at Western Kentucky University, and I am going to get my doctorate in organizational leadership at some point in my life, hopefully in the next 3 years. Fingers crossed, we'll see. So that is what I am currently doing right now in my journey.
I'm Brandon Sinnis. I go by I am Brandon on Twitch. I'm the community manager for Lightstream. I'm also the organizer for Twitch Chicago. Been partnered on Twitch for 3 years. So yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Cool. My name's Daniel Bong, otherwise known as iCasper. I've been a content creator for about 7-8 years now. I currently work as the community manager for Tiltify. If you've been to the Charity Plaza, you're welcome. It's amazing. I know. I am a god. But in all seriousness, lots of work. I wear many hats. I do their stage directing, everything that you see over there. So it's hard. It's very hard, and I'm sure you guys are very overwhelmed with all of your goals. Trust me, I don't know what's next either, but our job is to help you figure that out. So.
Well, that's a hard one to follow. I'm George Dupre. I'm the CEO of Leviathan Corps. Does that work? Can you hear me now? George Dupre, CEO of Leviathan Corps. We are a professional services group within the games industry. You mostly don't hear about us, but you see our work. Some of our clients include 2K with Borderlands 3 for their launch, Digital Extremes with Warframe, and some others. So I'm one of those guys who does contracts and finance and all that fun stuff that you all hopefully get a chance to partake in down the road.
I'm Dr. Patricia Todd, and I'm kind of the outlier in the group. I'm a professor at Western Kentucky University. I teach consumer behavior. Also the faculty advisor for our esports program. Who's actually one of the founding people of that program. My research stream has changed. I've had many goals as I've evolved, and so hopefully I can give you some advice on what I did when I did my goal setting and continue to do goal setting.
Okay, great. So everybody on this panel is an industry leader in what they do. We have some people that are influencer managers. We have community managers of all types, people that have been extremely successful in their fundraising efforts.
Thank you.
Well, don't discount you too, Brandon.
It's cousin.
Brandon,
It's cousin.
Mr. I Am Brandon, grassroots extraordinaire.
And then there have been people that have actually broken through very successfully in the industry and have evolved from being a live streamer to, I guess, not a developer, but I mean, you've become almost the face of the business itself. You know, so I think it's very nice that we have a well-rounded group of people on this panel, and I do want to thank all of you for doing this because it was just like pie in the sky. I asked them to join this panel, and they're like, "Sure," and I'm like, "Yes." So we all have different goals. We all have different unique journeys, and we're going to go right into the booklet. The booklet that is in front of you that you have picked up, this is your roadmap. The reason why we chose the name Over the Rainbow, Reaching Your Goal Brick by Brick, is basically, I think everybody in this room knows the story of Dorothy and how she went to Oz and she had to get home by following the yellow brick road. And as she followed the yellow brick road, she encountered many obstacles. Oh my goodness, my dad is calling me. Why?
Hi, Dad.
I totally thought I turned this off. Okay, so.
Hey, Dad. Hello. It's me.
Minus 100 points to Gryffindor. All right. Anyways, so she followed the yellow brick road. She encountered many obstacles. She met many friends. She had a person guide her, Glinda the Good Witch, and that's why we chose that name. And goal setting is extremely important. We've done it since the beginning of time, from the very first person who could actually make a goal on this earth. And it has enabled us to succeed, to survive, to become stronger as a whole, and to make us feel very fulfilled personally, as well as, I guess, in the days of early, like, well, I don't know, cavemen, live. I mean, that's important. So, our mission here is to empower you guys and creating a successful roadmap and reaching your goals. This can be transferable to any goal in your life, whether it is here on Twitch, whether it is at school, whether it is with a job that you're currently holding. Everything that is in this booklet is transferable. And if you are watching online, this booklet is in our session, I guess, blurb. If you go to the TwitchCon schedule and find our session, there is a link there that you can download as a PDF and you can follow along with us. And we will be taking, I guess, questions, comments from both here and from our viewers in the chat. So here, this is a safe space. There's no bad ideas. There's no judgment. If you're comfortable sharing your work, please do so. I will be trying to go around with a microphone to come to you instead of you come to us, because I know a lot of people don't want to stand up and like be that person, you know. So I am here to help you and to get your questions answered. And okay, let's talk first about what were our big dreams and our goal. Now, everybody here, we all have specific goals. You guys have your own specific goals. I just kind of want to tell you to dream big. A lot of people do not dream big. They dream very small, and then they feel very unfulfilled with themselves. So you need to dream big. And I think while we are going to be doing an exercise, we're going to talk about, I think, our big dreams while you're thinking about your big dream, so that way there isn't too much dead space for our viewers. That way they can think about theirs too. And then we're going to ask if you would like to share within your little hub of friends that are around you, because surely nobody is sitting by themselves right now.
No, because they follow directions.
So if anybody would like to share that, I will be asking a couple people to share that in person and online. So did anybody want to do a dream big exercise, or do you want me to lead it?
I think you would be great at it.
Oh, excellente. All right. So this is probably going to feel very hokey and weird, but I would like for you all to just close your eyes, and I want you to think about your biggest dream. Just take away all of your extra thoughts, take away how hungry you might be, how thirsty you might be, and just think about, where do you see yourself ultimately? What is your biggest goal? And I want you to think about that. And us up here, we're going to talk about what our big dreams are while you're thinking about exactly where you see yourself. What are you doing in this dream? What are you smelling? What are you feeling? What are you whatevering? Okay? For me, my biggest dream is to be a leader in the industry, somebody who motivates and inspires people, somebody who talks to people and helps them realize their dreams. That is what mine is.
I think my biggest dream is that I want to continue to inspire people and like improve myself every day, and be successful and be able to pay for student loans, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's ultimately the dream.
Yes.
Debt is always a hard one. For me, it's a little bit more specific, but definitely branches out from there. I want to see a world without cancer. I've lost many people in my life to cancer, and ever since that day, I lost my best friend when I was 13, and then I lost my other best friend 2 months after to a drunk driver. So those two causes are what I want to get rid of, advocacy against drunk driving and then curing the world of cancer. So that's my gigantic dream.
It's an excellent big dream, by the way.
Yeah.
My big dream is really for the industry, is to make a healthy environment for both content creators and brands who wish to work with content creators.
You guys are so lofty.
Thank
I've had
you.
several big dreams. I had a big dream once of taking a business from $3 million to $30 million. So I reached that dream, and then I had the dream of I want to be a doctor, I want to have a doctorate, I want to teach at a university, and then I had that dream. But the whole time I was doing those sort of sub-goals, I had this overreaching goal, and I'm going to tell you guys this right now because I haven't told anybody else this, so don't tell anybody. But I
Yeah,
wanna-
Twitch chat.
I want to write a novel.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what about? Anything in particular? or-
I see that's where I get hung up, because it's like this personal thing, and then I start to question myself, and then I don't do what's in this book, right? I don't write it down. I don't do that. But anyway, that's my biggest dream. Don't tell anybody that, because then they'll hold me accountable.
Okay. So now that we've all talked about our dreams, you guys have envisioned it, you closed your eyes, you can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it. Please write in your book exactly what your big dream is. And that is on page 5 of the booklet. Page 5 of the booklet. And I'm not going to ask yet what your big dream is, because some of you might not be very comfortable sharing it right now, but maybe later. Okay? So go ahead and write it down.
And just as a reminder to the folks who have been coming in after the panel started, we do recommend that if you are sitting alone, that you do sit a little closer to some other folks. At the end of the day, we are going to be having small group activity, and being alone makes it a little difficult. So.
Well, I mean, I have multiple personalities, so I'm okay. But also, I want to mention, viewers at home, Twitch chat, we do have you open as well. So if you'd like to share those big dreams in chat, please do share. I am. Senpai is noticing you. So. My branding. I'm not weird. I'm kind of weird, but we'll get to that.
You've got the onesie on.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh, right. So I'm not weird, I swear. This was a charity incentive. Like I said, my big dream was to see the world without cancer. So I've been doing a lot of charity events, TLDR, because we'll get into details later. I had an incentive to wear this at TwitchCon for an entire day. So I have to wear this now. I have to wear this to dinner, on a date later. It's
Ooh.
yay.
It's a great story. I like that.
Okay.
So your goal is to be able to use the bathroom.
Yes, this was the first time I've ever used a public bathroom while wearing a onesie. It was the most complicated thing I've ever done in my entire life. It is. Okay, all right, we've got a jokester in, I see. Class clown right there, all right.
Okay, so I personally am going to be walking around the room, and everybody else is going to be like chilling out up here, so that way they can easily talk to you, because I'm the only one right now with a movable mic. So now that you have written down your big goals and that you have an idea underneath it, it says to put down 3 objectives that you can do, that you can achieve, that goes towards your big goal, okay? So if your big goal is to meet your favorite Twitch streamer, whether it's Casper or Brandon,
Hello.
okay, 3 goals. How can you achieve that? Get a plane ticket.
By
find out
coming to our panel
coming to the panel,
in the Hey
exactly.
Guys Theater, TwitchCon 2019.
You know, finding out what convention they're at. You just need to think about what are 3 objectives that you could reach in doing that. Okay? And these are smaller objectives. And you're going to be writing your objectives several times. And I would like for Twitch chat to put some objectives in their books and in their, and if you are comfortable sharing, please put it in chat so we can at least discuss it and share with everybody here, because maybe you have an objective that somebody hasn't thought about here and they would like to add that to theirs. You know, we're all sharing. This is a collaborative workshop.
And Twitch chat in particular, if you don't want to share that because you're uncomfortable, that's totally understandable. Please put a "Hey guys" in chat. Because I like chaos. I'm sorry. It's
That's okay. All right, so I'm going to ask if anybody is comfortable sharing or if they have a question, and I'm going to be getting my steps in today. All right, go ahead.
So I want to become a partner on Twitch, and my 3 breakdown objectives would be, well, obviously get 75 average viewers and be more active on socials and stream for 5+ hours.
I think those are very good objectives to get towards your ultimate dream of being partner. Thank you for sharing those. I appreciate that. Okay, and then in a moment, I will go to Twitch chat and see if anybody shared anything there. And if not, Casper will do a very big frowny face. He's not doing it now, but he might be doing it in chat. Okay, go ahead.
All right, hi, my name's Snowstop, and one of my biggest dreams is something I want to see is more like seeing a chat full of laughter. That's like, makes me so happy, like if they see my production value, and that just lights me up. So I thought one thing I could work on is every week, what is one interactive change I could make to the Twitch channel? Whether big or small. If it's something small, or if something big, then I'll work on the progress and log it in Discord so I can be kept accountable.
Yeah, for sure. That's very analytical. A great way to think about it. You remind me of someone very close to me. Tomorrow, he does that all the time, and he judged himself for years and years, and he still does it to this day. And he's constantly experimenting, but finding the right balance for your community is big.
Do we have anybody else that would like to share? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Senpai.
Hello.
My name is Ludarks. My goal is to create an environment where chatters and lurkers and streamers don't feel like they're a misfit or an outcast or not acknowledged. My main thing is being acknowledged, because I have been the odd guy many times. I feel like the odd guy right now.
Me too. No, trust me. Me too.
And I want to create a situation where not everybody wants to talk. And that's why lurkers are welcome, and that's why we love them, because they are there and they are participating in their viewership, and that's their form of interaction. But I want to make sure that they know that they are acknowledged, like the Avatar movie, the blue Avatar movie, not the Airbender good movie, but the Avatar one, where they say "I see you." That to me is beautiful, and that would be my top goal, to make sure that everybody feels like they are being seen and acknowledged, and that you're giving them that part of you.
Yeah.
About the onesie, I really hope that you have multiple copies of the same onesie and that you're not wearing the same thing 3 days straight.
No comment.
No comment. And the smaller goals are a little bit more simple. I want to have a viewership of 100 plus viewers that is consistent, that I'm able to maintain. I want to find my niche. I want to find whatever makes me unique. I'm still in that search. And I want to create new tools for interaction. I have some scripting knowledge, small, not a lot, but between the talks from Fitz, C# Fritz, he's developed a sentient bot that I recommend everybody checking out. It's really cool. And I just realized that I have been using the microphone wrong, so yeah, that makes me that guy.
There's always one, it's okay.
Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
No, I think that's a really good goal for everybody, having a channel where everybody feels welcome, lurkers or chatters or streamers who come in as well. So I like all those. I'm still trying to figure that out, how to make everybody know that they're welcome, even if they're lurking, to chat. Because, there's obviously people who just like to watch but don't want to say stuff. So that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. And just to touch on it, because it's now come up twice, so I'm sure that there's a lot of folks that their overarching goal, maybe even just for this panel or in general, is to get to partnership. I just want to comment on it now. Many, many years ago, to get partnership on Twitch was very convoluted, was very not set in stone. Oh, you need X amount of viewers, you need X amount of this and X amount of this. And even though they've given you these guidelines, and they help, trust me, they do, to have that in paper and pen, whatever saying you want. The same is true is that they don't necessarily care that you have X amount of viewers. They care that you've cultivated this community, because Twitch is all about community. Their rebranding is about community and accentuating that. So keep that in mind when we're going through these exercises, because yes, the viewership's really important, but your community is even more. So.
And if you build your community, the viewership will increase. So if you put an emphasis on that, it's going to be an open and inviting environment.
Okay. So now I would like to open it to chat. Has anybody been sharing anything in chat? I think we have somebody who will read anything.
Most of them have been about partnership, which is what we expected, because ultimately that is a goal that we all want. So it's been mostly just about, I struggle to get to partner. I struggle to cultivate and engage community, especially with the lurkers. That does happen a lot. I stream in the middle of the night, so I get everyone sleeping to me. So I get one person in chat, even though I have 200, 300 viewers, and it's hard to deal with mentally. But knowing that they're there, knowing that they appreciate you, you are the chill person that they fall asleep to. That's not creepy at all. But it is something, you have your role, and you kind of have your community because of that. So.
Did you guys that are partners, did you have specific kind of objectives in your mind? Like for somebody that wants to get partner, maybe I could, during the week I would stream like she was talking about so many hours. Did you have those sort of things in mind, or did you just keep on keeping on?
Yeah, when I was trying to get partner, I knew that I had to stream a certain amount of hours. So I was working a full-time job while streaming. Well, I still do, but I was like, okay, I'm going to work for 8 hours, come home, and then I'm going to stream for 5. And I was had goals of what I wanted to do, of how many hours I wanted to stream, what kind of games I wanted to play, and then find my niche as well, where I knew where my viewers were coming in and enjoying. So I kind of pushed on that to make sure that kind of keep making people come in.
Yeah, and then consistency is probably one of the most important things that you'll hear a lot, is that as long as you keep to a schedule, whatever that schedule is, don't be tricked into thinking that you have to stream 7 days a week. You can, and that gets your content out there for sure, 100%. But I've seen effective strategies where people go live 3 days a week for 4 hours, and that is equally as good. I mean, with partnership requirements, you need a little more, but just giving them a place and a time to know, hey, it's like my favorite TV show, even though no one watches TV anymore and it's Netflix. But I'm going to be live 9 p.m. and you're live somewhere around there. That way they know you're there. They know they can tune in. So for sure, that is the short answer. Sorry.
Yeah. And I'd like to add to this too. I'm actually a partner on Twitch as well, but I am, I guess, an unconventional partner in that I created something very valuable for Twitch. I created a community of people in real life, in real time, through where I live. And so Twitch has saw the value in something that maybe they didn't even think about doing before. And I was very fortunate that I had some leaders who helped me with my goal, like Brandon, because he was doing Chicago. It helped me figure out what I wanted to do for Nashville. And through doing something unconventional like that, or even just, you just have to think outside the box sometimes too, and really stick to it. So sometimes it's very straightforward, like consistency, getting a certain amount of viewers. But if you have some kind of thought that would value the community on Twitch, they might see the value in that too. We have one more person who wanted to share their objectives.
Hi, my name is Sierra. So my goal isn't partnership. I hit mine back in December, which was super, super cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But from there, it kind of like, some friends told me like it doesn't end at partnership, which
Yeah.
it kind of really did seem like that, oh, that's the end goal, that's what we all strive for. And then I hit partnership and it was like, this is awesome, but now what? And I've really struggled with finding my goal since then. And then I realized I wanted to be someone in the Twitch community, not just in my community. I want to be a successful influencer. I want to be up there. I want to be able to talk to people and share my story and actually have a voice instead of just streaming and doing all that. So then I put my little mini goals to get there, to be innovative, putting yourself out there, networking, building like some meaningful connections within the community, and then streaming full time, because that's just something I want to do. So.
And just for my personal reference, you could possibly think of like another 30 things you could list there, right? Yeah, okay. Because I'm just saying the way that you hold yourself together while speaking, it speaks like leaps and bounds about the type of person that you are, and that you are on the right track.
Yeah.
Just FYI. Because there's a lot of partners, new partners, and even veteran partners that don't know, and that I wish were here, but we're busy. But it's very hard, so good on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move to the next topic, because now we have started to get a feel for what our road is going to look like, right? We have a couple goals in mind. We have the destination. We want to get to Oz, basically. So the next page, on page 6, it talks about setting SMART goals. Now, how many of you have gone to a workshop panel here before today? Or even earlier today, before this one?
This one's the
Excellent.
best. Thank you.
I am so
No, I'm kidding.
happy about that there's so many workshop panels. How many of you have heard about SMART goals in those workshop panels?
They stole our content.
Yeah, they did. They totally took our idea. Never been talked about before. Okay, the reason why all these panels are talking about SMART goals is because they work. They help you stay focused on what it is you want to achieve. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over what a SMART goal is, and we're going to be refining our dream, refining our objectives. And Twitch chat, I am sure you will be doing that as well with us. And make sure to chat and chat, because now you guys are your own group, right? You guys are your sounding boards. So, SMART goal. S, specific. It has to be concise. It has to be very clear what it is you want to achieve. You can't just say something like, I think I want to do something on Twitch. I think I'll just do something on Twitch. That's not very specific. There's a lot you can do. It needs to be measurable. There has to be a way that you can track your progress. It has to be achievable or action-oriented. It has to be relevant. And you have to have a time that you are going to finish this or achieve this by. So, while you guys are doing the next couple things about writing down your dream and then writing down your SMART objectives, which hopefully are more concise and more clear from your previous objectives that you wrote down, we're going to be sharing some SMART goals that we have achieved in our journey, because everybody's journey is unique. Not everybody has the same path. So we'll start it off with Brandon.
So one thing I love about Twitch is that there's so many people that you meet all over the world and online who inspire you to do so many different things. So one of my goals, which we're going to talk about him in a second. So Casper does a charity stream, a Quest for the Cause, and I was really inspired by what he was doing a few years ago. That I started a charity marathon myself called Scareathon.
He stole my idea.
Basically, yeah, we have like 30 different broadcasters who stream for 3 days, and we all play scary games for charity. So that's been going on for the last 3 years, and it's just really cool to see what he's done that inspired me to want to do more stuff for charity and do all that kind of stuff. So, like, that was my goal, was to put like my energy into something that could help other people.
Sure. So again, my broad goal was to see a world without cancer someday, right? And the best way for a content creator to do that is to fundraise or to engage your community in order to raise funds to give it to those that can cure cancer and find these solutions to it. So by doing that, my specific goal then became I wanted to create something that could solve that could fundraise. And it's not about the amount, it's about the mission, right? The message. So Quest for the Cause was created 8 years ago now, and it started with myself and a handful of local friends before I no longer had local friends, because streamer. And it was a 24-hour stream in my parents' basement, because I still lived at home at the time. And we played Dance Central 3, we played League of Legends, because yes, it was out back then, and just played a whole bunch of silly games, scary games, funny games, weird games, Borderlands 2, because Borderlands 3 took 10 years to come out. And we raised $3,500 that night. This was from someone that just started streaming. I just started streaming maybe 3 months prior. I started streaming because I found out about Man vs. Game and Ezekiel III. They did their legendary fundraiser for breast cancer research, and BC Warrior was born. And that's what inspired me there. And then I created that event, and long story short, it's now turned into a week-long, 168-hour event that has raised $487,000 over the last 8 years. One-time event, one time a year. We've been able to raise a lot of money, so that's measurable. We can track that progress there. It is achievable. Achievable is the only hard one for me for this one, because that's a very lofty goal that I'm aiming for, right, ultimately. But our goal here is to just do as much as we possibly can until we see that day. It has relevant meaning, like you know, with the people in my life as well as myself that have gone through the struggles of cancer, and then we'll see where we get there, hopefully before the end of my time. So.
Oh, so I'm clearly the business person.
It's okay. We need you. I get paid because of this man. So.
So with mine, I started in the industry actually with a different startup. When I was working with content creators, learned a lot about content creation. Some of my friends had been fortunate enough to have their channels do very well, so I was exposed early on, and got a lot of PR contacts from that. Learned a lot about the brands, and the conversations with the brands, and this is all going towards something. So when I started Leviathan Core, the core mission was to improve the environment that was there for the brand's experience. The influencers were getting support from some of the newer management groups that were forming at the time, and the brands needed a similar level of support and information because, quite frankly, knowledge about influencers is new. So I set about leveraging that information with our first client. And I wanted to make sure that first client understood at the end of the day, when we were done working with them, more about the space than they knew when they first began, which is a different experience. It wasn't an Iron Curtain environment. There wasn't a failure to disclose information. It was, we are experienced with the field. We want to share anything you need to know. So anytime you speak with an influencer, anytime you do communicate or create, develop anything involving content creation, that it resonates with all of you in the room. And for us, achieving that first goal, achieving that first client, and having success with that first client was step number one. I knew that it could be done. I knew that it was measurable. I knew that it was achievable. And it was the beginning of the forward momentum that would ultimately land us in the spot where we are now, where we have a stable of clients who are increasingly large, and we're fortunate to be in that position, who are sharing in our mindset. And as that continues to expand, and the hope is that it continues to expand, that everybody involved in the brand and influence relationship has a meaningful and positive experience. So.
All right. Well, when I wrote down my, that's loud. When I wrote down my dream on the previous page, I wrote down writing a novel, but obviously that's not big enough, right? That's not a big enough dream. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to write a novel, and it's going to be on the New York Times bestseller list. Okay, so that's my big dream. So I think that makes it a little bit more specific. And so it's measurable, right? I'll be able to track my progress. It's either going to make it or it's not going to make it, or maybe it will sell a few and then I'll have to rethink my thoughts. But anyway, it's measurable. It's achievable. I fully believe it's achievable. It's relevant because we all have a story that we want to tell, and I have a story that I want to tell, so it's relevant, and it's time-oriented. So if I go down and I write the objectives, the objectives are going to be something like, well, I want to write for 30 minutes a day, and at the end of the year, when I do it every day, at the end of the year, I'm going to have 365 pages, which is a novel, right? And then I'm going to go to Amazon, and I'm going to self-publish it. All right, so those are some of my objectives, and that's how I look at it. It's like, okay, I'm going to dream bigger. How can I, chunk this down into smaller steps, and then how can I achieve it? That's my plan anyway.
So, here's where we get to the workshop part of this all. You guys have been writing down. I would like for you, in your own tables, not like long tables, I would like for you in each segment with 4 of the closest people, or maybe if you are just 2 and there's somebody behind you that you could talk to, please take a couple minutes and tell each other about what some of your SMART goals are. Or maybe you want to talk about your overarching big dream goal. But just have a sounding board with each other, and maybe you'll make a friend in the room, but mostly so you can have a sounding board, okay? So we're gonna give a couple minutes. Go ahead and chat about it with somebody by you. And Twitch chat, I hope you're chatting about it on there too, and then we will share and discuss our SMART goal.
That's the moment you realize, like, what they're going to, you take it. It's gonna be partnership.
This next one.
Hey guys, one more minute.
3.
I to look at the schedule, see what else is stacked up against.
FYI, those in Twitch chat, I love you. My phone reset, so if you want to repost your things, that'd be great.
Okay, while you kind of finish up your final thoughts with each other, I'm going to see who would like to share their SMART goals. So I'm going to pick about 2 people here to share their SMART goals, and then 2 viewers online. If you guys, if you are putting your SMART goals in chat, I think we're going to filter through and choose 2 from there. So if you're interested, go ahead and raise your hand, and I will run over to you and get my steps in.
My biggest dream would be to create a story for like a game or maybe like a series or something like that. 3 objectives was be like try to get like known into the gaming industry. Another one would be like, of course, writing every day and then researching other stories, how other successful people in either the game industry or storytelling or whatever, see how they do and kind of like not mimic but try to learn from their experiences and hardships for me to get better.
That's actually one of the best mindsets to have. There's billions of people in the world all experiencing things and learning lessons, and if you can apply yourself to learn the lessons that they're learning as they go through it, or learn something a little different from their interactions, you're arming yourself with knowledge every step of the way.
My biggest dream is just to create a community where everyone can connect to each other. It's hard growing up and processing through life. As in school, it's not easy being a kid, transitioning to adult. It's not easy to make friends. I've broken through that, and I want to help other people break through that and create a community where everyone can be friends.
I think that's very important that we can have that kind of community with people where that we can help them break through too and feel comfortable being around each other. Are there any Twitch viewers that wanted to share anything? No? Bummer. Well,
Twitch chat is quiet. What?
are they really quiet?
They're intimidated. It's okay.
Oh, no.
I understand. I'm here. I'm beautiful. I know. It's,
Yeah, Casper has a very intimidating look to him today.
I have that problem. Everyone knows what I'm referring to, and I cannot say it out loud. I have that problem. I get it. It's okay. I'm a very nice person. I promise.
Well, why don't we go ahead and see if anybody else wants to share one of their SMART goals? Anybody? Because I can share one of mine. Okay, great. Yeah. You can just share what you wrote down right there.
I'm trying to get a sustainable career as a game journalist and streamer. And one of my goals is actually be consistent with my streaming schedule, which I'm not, and work with my current editor as a freelance writer to get better at my style of writing.
Guys, thank you so much for sharing those goals with us. I really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and look on to the timeline of when we want to get these goals done by. A lot of you have said that you wanted to be a Twitch partner. Will that be in 5 months? 6 months? 1 month if you're very overachieving and very willing to put in that work?
Twitch.tv/iCasper.
What does your timeline look for you and for those specific goals that you have put down? Okay, we need to break it down even further into those steps that you are going to do to reach those ones. All right, and when you're going to do them by. For instance, if I wanted to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, okay, this is very basic. Well, I'm going to take 2 seconds to get the bread out of the package, right? I'm going to take a second to go over to the fridge and get it out. And those are each steps. There's each times there, alrighty. For me personally, it was I wanted to build a community in Nashville. Well, when am I going to have my first event? What date is that going to be? When am I going to put it out over social media that this is going to be happening and you need to RSVP to this? Those are the kinds of very measurable goals to get to the big overarching goal, and there is a very specific timeline. This is where you write down the timeline that you would like to see this. So go ahead, take some time to write about that. And if our panelists feel very comfortable sharing what their timeline looked like, to go into that, their specific industry area, that would be very appreciated. I know that for me personally, I wanted to be on a panel. That was my goal. I came to the first TwitchCon and I'm like, man, this is really cool. I would like to be on a panel. That is my goal. Well, I'm not one to have people ask me to do something. I am just going to go out there and do it myself. So I put my panel together. I came up with the idea, I came up with all what the topic of discussion would be. When am I going to submit this panel by? You know, wait until they tell you when to submit it. So all of that was something that I had to keep in mind. How was I going to pitch it? What was my little elevator speech for it? How was I going to present it? That was my personal goal, and I had like 1 month to put it together, and then I had to wait to see if it was accepted, and then I had to, you know, make the presentation slides, and I had to make the fancy graphics, and then for every single panel I've ever done, I have made booklets to go with it. So we have to talk to the people to print out the booklets. Are we going to have pens and pencils? Oh my gosh, so much to think about. So if you guys would like to share that, while they're sharing, please write this down in your booklets, okay? Go ahead.
Yeah, I could bring up the Scarathon stuff again. So when I first came up with the overall idea for it, I knew I needed someone to help me because I couldn't do it by myself. So I reached out to a friend, Ravenheart, who played the same kind of games as I did. So the first part of my objective was to find somebody to help, and then we need to find the broadcasters to be a part of this event. That was another part of the timeline. Also, another thing was to find the charity that we wanted to represent, and then finding how we're going to actually make this happen. And then also, how can we get Twitch to talk about it and reach out to them about it? So there was multiple different steps I had to go through, and then making sure everything was working with the prizes that we're giving away and all the logistics of that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's always a difficult project to take on, and since Brandon just covered that, I guess I won't talk about the exact same thing. Let me change mine a little bit and talk a little bit more about partnership, because I'm sure that's something that a lot of you are already interested in. For me, my road is a little bit different. I was in school for becoming a teacher, and you can't tell because of the way I talk, clearly, but I was supposed to be a teacher, and I started streaming while I was still in my 3rd year of my first degree, and a couple years later I finally graduated, and I realized that, my teaching degree is always going to be there. I wanted to give streaming a try, so I decided to give myself a timeline to try and achieve full-time partnership and full-time content creation within 2 years. So I gave myself 2 years away from my job. That way I wasn't splitting my time, splitting my focus, and I tried to see if I could go from point A, which was I am partnered already, I already have an infrastructure, to how do I build a brand, go beyond that, and 2 years from now, how can I self-sustain myself off that income? So gave myself the timeline of 2 years, trying to build upon that. What were the goals? Well, sustainable income is really important. Does that come from subscribers? Does that come from ad revenue? No. Does that come from other avenues like Patreon, things like that? And then, of course, building my identity as senpai. So, and I also wanted to mention that because I'm sure my good buddy here wants to talk about that even more. So,
Yeah, if I can just interject too. You're not the only one who went to school for teaching, right? As we
Right.
discussed.
Oh, yeah, I did
Because
too.
I went to
Yeah.
school to be a music educator. And the fine arts are something that's really struggling right now. And I realized after going out there in the world and teaching that I really liked it, but it didn't make my heart sing. I wanted to do something different. And so I'm like, well, maybe it's just a level of education I have. Let's go back and get a master's in it. Oh, okay, it still doesn't make my heart sing, really? I mean, I really enjoy it, but all right, you know what? I'm gonna totally change what I'm doing. That's scary. I'm in my 30s, I'm changing my career. a lot of you might be changing your careers to do this dream that you want to achieve, it's okay, right? Because we've all been there, and I think it's really cool to do that. It's a risk, and we are all taking risks. And now I'm going for my doctorate because I'm a glutton for punishment, and apparently I really want to have some student loans in my life. But I went into something different, and that is what makes my heart sing. All right, I'm sorry. George, go ahead.
So for me, I started with a deadline. I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a difference in the industry. And for the type of work that we do, we need to get FaceTime with brands and developers. So what do we look at? We look at major conventions. For me, that was going to be March 2017. That was around the time of PAX East. So I had to get everything set by then. And I started just about halfway through 2016. And I started with, what do I need? Well, I clearly need the business plan. Any business does. Same goes for partners. When you become a partner, you are saying, I want this to be a business. I heard a big sigh.
Sorry.
You want it to be a business. You're building your brand, your identity, and you're establishing your channel. And your channel and your brand are your business. So I took a long time planning it out. The resources I need, well, you need money for one, and won't go into details on that, but that worked out. Legal. You need to protect yourself. In this day and age, you need to make sure that you are following the things that you need to do so you don't make a misstep. And you need to protect your brand and your identity in the event that somebody else makes a misstep or does something malicious. So it's doing the due diligence with that. And then laying all of the groundwork of communication, the team, the people involved, starting the communications leading into the event. These were all things that I needed to do in order to achieve the smaller specific goal of being ready when PAX East came around.
Okay, good. I think that as I'm sitting here and listening to you guys talk, I think that one of the things that George said is really important, and that's starting with the end in mind and then working back and deciding what you need in terms of resources. Previously, I mean, I was really lucky in the goals that I've reached so far, because when I was a global business manager, I had a business goal that I had to reach for the corporation, or I didn't have a job. So it was pretty clear that I could lay out, okay, I need to do this, and see these customers and travel to these countries. And then I had, profit and loss goals that I had to reach. So that was pretty much laid out for me. When I decided to get a doctorate, I said, well, I have to be able to take these courses. I had to take these face-to-face courses, and then I had to work on the dissertation, which was the hardest part, because then it started to be more of a self-imposed timeline. And so it became more important, but still there was, I had to do this at the end of 3 years or whatever, so I had to get that done. When I went to work at the university, I had tenure requirements. So you have to publish so many things, by the 6 years to become assistant to associate, and then from associate to full professor. And so you have guidelines that you have to reach by certain times. But now, when I say I want to write a novel, it's like, shoot. Now I have to set my own timeline. And that's when, I watched a TED Talk one time on the procrastination monkey. And so the procrastination monkey takes hold, and the timeline starts to stretch out and stretch out and stretch out and stretch out. And then you're sitting at TwitchCon and you're going, I really want to write a novel, but I haven't done it yet because I am having problems, just like many of you, when you reach partnership. That's a self-imposed timeline, really. I mean, you have the guidelines, but you're still responsible for meeting those guidelines yourself. And so I think that's kind of the difference that I'm seeing here. Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, I think it's so important that we have a timeline that is realistic, because a lot of us try to do something too fast, and it's not very realistic on all of the little steps that you need to complete in order to get there. There's always something that you have to hold up and wait on. Did you want to say something,
Yeah, I
George?
just want to interject on that point. Part of the reason I selected PAX East, it is a considerable amount of time from when I started planning everything out, and I wanted that so I could have the buffer. I wasn't under the gun to get things started, and I could do it appropriately and have a plan in place, and I could contemplate multiple variables that may or may not have happened when we started. And I think with your channels, it's the same approach. Whether you're hitting affiliate, whether you're hitting partner, you've got to take those steps and say, what do I need at each of those steps? If this is something that I think I can hit in this trajectory, what do I need to achieve that trajectory? What timeline do I think I can hit it in? Am I pushing myself too quickly? If I get there, am I prepared to take the next steps afterwards, or am I going to be completely gassed, burnt out, and frazzled and unable to do anything? And set that pace with yourself and create those agreeable timelines.
Okay, so I think that setting a timeline is something that is very personal for each and all of us. We're all going to have different kinds of timelines to achieve our goals by, and I think if we were to share those all, they would be wildly different, and I think that it's something very personal that we could probably just keep, you guys could just keep those timelines to yourself, you know, like just write it down in your booklet and keep it there for the next couple steps later. I think it's also very important that we figure out where we find the time to achieve these goals, because sometimes we all have busy lives. Some of us have a full-time job while we're streaming on Twitch. Some of us have children that we have to take care of while we're trying to work towards our goal. Where are we going to find time to do these things? I would like for you guys to think about what you could do to make time for those goals. This is probably the hardest part for you to be very real with yourself and think about, where can I realistically make time for this very important thing that I deserve to work towards and achieve, because this is something that's very important to me. And I say deserve because a lot of us say, well, I would like to achieve it. Well, if you work really hard for it, I mean, it's something that you have kind of, like, you deserve to do it because you have worked really hard towards it, although that is a kind of loaded word, I think. But anyways, think about where you can carve out time. Is it in the morning? Is it at nighttime when everybody's asleep? I personally do a lot of my best work in the morning, even though I hate to get up early. I really hate to get up early. But that's when my brain is the most creative and the most active, and that's when I can get the most writing done for my coursework. That's just an example. I don't know if you guys have any crazy, zany times that you carve out for yourselves, if you wanted to share them. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Sorry, do you mind if I jump
You
in?
first, yeah. No, mine's awful.
So. I start my day at 10 a.m. and I'm in business calls. When I say start, I wake up 10 a.m. I've got something called delayed sleep phase disorder, so I'm offset. So my zany hours are literally starting work 10 minutes after I wake up, being on conference calls and so on and so forth, work until 8 or 9 at night. And then from that time until about 5 a.m., that's where I really kick into high gear. And I'm doing two things. I'm letting my brain wander on the tasks that I just completed that day, where I'm saying, okay, what did I do? Then the next step is, what can I do better? And that's how I deal with it. And I deal with it in the middle of the night when nothing else is going on. There's zero distractions. And it's a bit of a hectic schedule, but it gets things done. So.
I don't want to say it anymore. So. No, well, I was just going to kind of add, like, a lot of people comment about me personally that I am a robot. I work a full-time job in the industry, but my hours are all over the place because of that. Since I work with charities that aren't just North American-based, UK-based, there's some times where I have meetings at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning, or 3 a.m. in the morning or at night. And the thing is I also stream 9 p.m. to 4 a.m., so I'm working from some days, especially leading into TwitchCon, working with Movember, which is UK-based, a 5 a.m. meeting, 6 a.m. meeting, maybe I get a nap, then I start my day at 8, 9 a.m., working until 5, 6 p.m., then I do something like errands, maybe, and I run to the store. And then I start my stream, and then I stream, and then, oh, look, I have another 5 a.m. meeting. I guess I'm staying up all night. So it's, yeah, I'm a robot. I'm a robot. Leading into TwitchCon, since we run the Charity Plaza, that's my project. I'm 120 hours a week leading into TwitchCon, which is not healthy, so please don't do that. Is the TLDR is really what I want to say there. Don't be a robot, but pacing yourself and figuring out when your brain works best. And I'm not going to lie, I've written many emails, and probably to some of you in the audience and in Twitch chat, while I was on the toilet, and I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Did anybody want to share, like, maybe when they could find time? If you have a unique one, I mean, sometimes people think they're best in the shower because that's where shower thoughts come from, you know? I mean, anybody have any thoughts about where you could find time?
I used to want to get a waterproof case for my iPad so that I could use it in the shower, because I tried doing a bath once. This is why I don't take baths anymore. I dropped it in numerous times. So I just, your hands get slippery, okay?
During lunchtime, I have TeamViewer installed on my PC at home. So if I think of something that I want to do, I'm like, oh, there's a meme I want to put on my stream. I have everything, my computer's on. So at lunch at work, I can just go to the web connector and start, you know, finding what I need to do and putting it on the stream deck and everything like that.
I too think about memes at lunch. I do, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say a very similar thing, but lunchtime, depending if you have 30 minutes, if you're working full time, like I can take 30 minutes to an hour, just depending. But you know, even 10, 15 minutes, if you could say you eat more quickly or you eat at your desk, whatever your job is like. Mine's a desk job. Take that 15 minutes, maybe eat at your desk, do some social media, like any of those little things that you can do while you're having your lunch, I find really helpful.
I think in a similar way, like if you take a minute to, or set out a time like on a Sunday, think ahead, schedule out what you have to do, and you can find little blocks of time throughout your day or week where, especially if you have like a 9 to 5, you know vaguely what your commute's going to be like, and so there are, I suppose, just self-reflection, audit your day, and you can find little blocks of time, schedule those out, and then actually like committing and executing on those blocks of time can help a lot. It's something I've thought about a lot but have kind of failed to implement.
I am one of the worst schedulers in the entire universe, even though it sounds like I'm not. But yeah, it's just finding these pockets of time. And when things come up, like, don't be afraid to have a notepad or a little journal with you and just jot notes really quickly.
Almost everybody has a phone, and almost every phone has a notes app.
Okay, all right. High-tech solution, man, all right?
They do say, though, that if you write something down, the research, I'm sorry, this is my academic mind, the research does show that if you write it down, physically write it down, you'll remember it more.
Yeah, George.
Just saying.
I'm a visual person, so yes, I do remember it.
I got you.
Maybe a different take on finding time, but figuring out if you're in the right position to what you can delegate or get other people to do to take advantage of their time or give yourself more time.
That's a big thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that, yes, there is 168 hours in a week, right? And you need to delegate a lot of those to sleep, hopefully, maybe, I don't. But when we come to the Charity Plaza, for example, that we plan, it's a big production crew. We have to come up with all these segments, yet literally hundreds of broadcasters involved, and no broadcaster ever reads their email ever.
True.
So, but you have to realize that, yes, I only have 168 hours in a week, but my team of 7, we have nearly 1,000 hours a week. And delegating is super important. It's hard to let go of things. It's very hard. But when I need sleep, yes, I can delegate it to someone else. So delegation, and I used to make fun of the idea of how every broadcaster these days has a community manager, because they don't really use their community managers effectively. If you find a community manager to use effectively, you now have 2 times the amount of hours in the day to get stuff done, and that is huge.
I was going to add to the delegating that absolutely I tried to build my own emotes for at least 2 months.
I am
And
so
could
sorry.
not. Yeah, no. I failed terribly and
Yeah.
multiple times. And then I went to a platform online.
Yes, never heard of it, yes.
Right. And and yeah, that was the best way of doing it. And I got what I consider are good emotes. They're cute. I am putting them everywhere, and I'm happy with them. As far as what I do, it really depends on my energy level. I'm a father, have a 13-month-old, and a lot of the times I talk to him and I explain him the ideas that I have. And it's just a way of, I'm doing two things at the same time, really. I'm teaching him language, and I'm also thinking, like, explain it to someone. And in that process of explanation, I'm thinking what I can do with my ideas, where they can go. If they fall apart, then I don't carry them out because they fell apart already. That was it. Thank you.
Yeah, multitasking and just having multiple purposes behind things that you do and tasks that you do is a great way to approach it too, for sure.
Yeah, seeking efficiency is one of the key elements in terms of keeping yourself sane. If you, just like Casper said, if you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you're going to be in a better spot afterwards.
Yes, Confucius says that too, I'm sure.
So I'm going to take one more person from the floor, and then I'm going to, is Twitch chat saying anything at all? Are they just putting in hey guys or kappas or anything? Nope, okay, cool. This is all about you guys here then.
Great. I just want to mention that one of the things I've learned is that when I'm really passionate about something, I don't mind spending a lot of time on it, but that's sometimes a bad thing. So I've learned to be okay with good enough. I found that, like, in small things, like, for example, when I put up a photo frame that I really like, I'll spend 2 hours measuring it, putting it up, making sure it's level, fixing it. When I do that now, I've learned I spend 5 minutes eyeballing it, and that's it. So I have found time in being okay with good enough and just moving on with the stuff that's temporary, that's not going to last, it's not that important, just move on.
Right. Perfectionism is a very hard thing to battle against. I used to be a perfectionist about everything, and that's where I lost a lot of my sleep. But good enough, I mean, it kind of has this negative connotation, being like, that's good enough. But that is a great way of thinking of it. I personally think, but you might have some people that argue against me, George.
No. So one of the happiest times that I have leading up to a show is the moment I leave for the airport, because as soon as I leave my residence to go to the airport, I know that everything from that point, all the plans and everything that's been set in motion, are either going to work or they're going to get triaged. You don't have to keep iterating and keep iterating and keep iterating. It's just a matter of it's going to work or you're going to do the best you can with it. Same thing when you get to the show floor. A lot of the exhibitors here have experienced it. I know these guys have experienced it. Not everything works perfectly. Sometimes things break and you do the next best thing. And being able to release yourself from it needing to be the original vision or the perfect vision is what can really save you a lot of time and energy.
Bob Ross is next time. So.
I think something that's helped me a lot personally in my professional life and my personal life when it comes to time management is having accountability to others. And sometimes you want to fall into that, I call it the couch void, where I get trapped in Netflix for 10 hours. But having somebody who you told, I'm going to work on this project or this task for between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. on this day, and telling somebody, whether it's a friend, a significant other, or your community, that you're going to do this, and then having somebody check in like, hey, are you actually doing that, or are you in the couch void? And that's helped me a lot with being more productive with my daily tasks and what I want to get done.
Hey guys, thank you so much for sharing those. Like, I think we've all come up with a lot of really cool ways to come up with the time, or we have related to the ways that you have come up with the time, especially the talking to your child one. I have talked to my son about what I'm going to do. My mother talks to me about what she's going to do. I think that some people even talk to their pets, like their goldfish or whatever.
Are you judging me?
I am totally not judging you.
Judging.
My cats
Maybe a little.
understand me. Thank you very much.
Luna speaks English, okay?
So, I mean, I think that's really great. All right, let's take about 5 minutes and we're going to go with our groups again, okay, because I really want to make sure that this is workshop, that you guys are getting feedback. I would like for you guys to talk about the skills that you would need to learn in order to achieve your goals. Like, for example, in the booklet, I put that if I wanted to be a successful photographer, I would need to know how to possibly work a camera. I would need to know the best lighting. I would need to be able to figure out how to maybe develop the film. I mean, all of these things that you might not have thought about. For my personal goal, I needed to learn how to talk to people and not be really awkward about it. I'm working on that second part.
It's called emails. It's, if they read them.
If they read them, yes.
Brandon.
No.
Yes.
No.
So I think that while you guys are working on this, I would like for us to talk about our certain skill sets in our industry. For me, it's talking out loud to people and being able to stand in front of you guys and put myself out there on the line and just talk to you, which sounds easy, but it really isn't.
Some of the skills I would say when I wanted to become a community manager that I had to get was organizational skills for events, learning the ins and outs of how social media works, knowing about how, different stats about what works and what doesn't work in the social space, gathering community and seeing what's best for them. Just a lot of it just kind of came from research and watching a lot of YouTube videos. Because, they don't teach you about this kind of stuff in school. I went to school to be a teacher also, and obviously I'm not. But
They make the best streamers.
exactly. But yeah, those set of skills really helped in making me a better community manager, and then also interacting with other people from other companies who are also community managers helps a lot too.
This is going to be the worst advice, but I'll get there. I swear. You know the saying, fake it till you make it? That is very true in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got thrown into my community manager position at Tiltify, it began as, oh, we need someone that kind of needs to learn social media. Okay. And we need a front-facing figure. I'm like, okay, well, I've got a big figure, so they'll notice me. But from there, it just became one thing after another, and FYI, if you're ever looking for a job in this industry, there's very few people that can hold as many hats as I do. So if you have a multiple skill set, like stage directing, dealing with streamers, social media, like there's a million different things out there. But yeah, it's you go into something, you have these expectations, but they're constantly evolving, and you should also be willing to constantly evolve. And I very much faked it until I made it. Not saying that I made it fully, but it's good enough, in other words. So.
I was just going to say something on top of that. Dealing with streamers is really important, especially in the community management role.
That's now 4 times.
Mainly because, like, if you're a content creator yourself, you have to kind of put your ego aside because you're there for the streamer, making sure that they're okay. I know that when I started this whole industry, jobs and stuff, I have always been a person who wanted to help others, and and people come up to me and say, you help a lot of streamers, you're a streamer yourself, isn't that weird? And I've never thought of it as being weird. I've always thought I'm just helping out people who want to succeed in their goals like I have, and if I can be that catalyst to help them out, I have no problem doing that.
I'm one of those rare people who doesn't get bored by speaking to lawyers, which is a wonderful skill to have.
What?
Yeah.
Noah doesn't count.
So that was one of my primary things, and within the company, I end up doing a lot of the contract work. So there's definitely that being able to communicate with content creators and streamers.
5.
Yeah, being able to pound inboxes until somebody pays attention.
6 technically. But.
Yeah.
That might be a hint to everybody to check your inboxes, especially leading up to shows. Start month and a half, 2 months out, hitting refresh and actually looking. But also just having the determination to learn new skills along the way, and the willingness to go and find them and identify. I'm a self-analytical person. As I mentioned earlier, everything I do I take a look at and say, how can I do it better? So I cringed a little bit when he said fake it till you make it. I agree with the premise. I personally think the fake part of the phrase is something that can be mistaken by individuals. You're not faking, you're saying, I don't know this skill set yet, and acknowledging that, and putting yourself in a position to learn it and to improve. And so long as you're learning and chasing after that knowledge, you're not faking anything, you're simply learning it. There are certainly others out there who will never learn. They refuse to learn, and they carry themselves as somebody who can do it. Those are people that, as professionals within the field or aspiring professionals in the field, you want to be aware of and keep your businesses and your brands away from, because it'll be negative results. So attach the mindset of learning every skill set that you can that benefits. So if you don't have a skill set, say, can I learn this? Or do I need to find somebody else who already knows or can learn it? You've got mods, you've got emote artists, you've got video editors. There's a whole support field out there. You're not going to be able to do every little thing. So being able to identify within yourself, can I do this? Can I learn it? How do I learn it? Or do I need to find somebody else who can?
Yeah, I think the fake it till you make it is, I've used that a lot. But I think of it as, if you want to be a partner, you act like a partner already. So you're not really faking it, you're just acting like the role that you want to be. And so as you do that, you learn. The other one that I always tell my students is never let them see you sweat.
Exactly.
Right? Never let them see you sweat. So you have to sort of build that internal dialogue where you have enough confidence in yourself, right, to put yourself out there, to learn things, to admit when you make a mistake, to fix a mistake, and to move forward. And I know personally I have a lot of problems with negative self-talk, and so some of that is just taking control of your internal voice and using it to learn those skills that you need.
I think a lot of us struggle with imposter syndrome. Have you guys heard of that? It's where you're like, am I really qualified to do the thing that I am doing right now? There's so many other people doing it so much better. I am not qualified. I should not be doing this thing. Well, guess what? You are qualified. You should be doing this thing. You should be learning about how to do it better. You know, it's all about calming that bad voice down in the back of your brain and learning the skills necessary to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. Okay? So I'm just going to take a couple minutes. I know someone wanted to share something, and then unfortunately we're going to be losing Casper here in a couple minutes because he is a very busy man. He's a robot, actually. He's a very busy robot, and I want to make sure that we get him to have his parting thoughts here in just a second. But what is it that you wanted to share?
What I wanted to add on to the fake it until you make it, it's a great thing because you also want to create the community that you want in your area, your stream. You know, you don't want to admit that negativity that you don't want in your stream. You want to admit the positivity and what you want and what your community wants, which is another good thing about the fake it until you make it.
Yeah, for sure. You never want to be eaten up by your community. Your community does dictate you, and if you let the negativity take over your channel, then that's all you're going to be. And while that works for very few people, I'm not going to say who, but we can think of a couple people, positivity will reign supreme in the end. So your community makes who you are, for sure.
Okay, so I know he's very busy and I know he would like to go, but and we're going to have a little workshop here in just a minute, but Casper, can you please tell us who you are again, what you do?
Wow, because I haven't been talking about myself this entire time.
I know, I want you to
Secretly,
tell us more.
yeah, all the plugs. Daniel Bong, iCasper on Twitch. I am a content creator. I also work as the community manager for Tiltify. I hate to plug other areas, but I do have to run. But I know that a lot of you might want to come and talk to me as well, because I can't stand outside and hang out for a bit. Please do find me at the Charity Plaza. I will be there about 3:15 p.m. until the end. until the closing segment. But if you want to come and talk more about any of this and any of this stuff, please do find me there.
Easy to find.
I'm wearing this all day.
It'll be
So,
very
but
easy.
thank you guys so very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here, Casper. I appreciate it. Yay. Yes. And he is iCasper on Twitter and Twitch. Pretty much everywhere. Okay. All right. Hey, guys, take a couple minutes, look through your book, talk amongst your group, and talk about the skill sets that you could learn to achieve your goals. And also, I would like for you to look at what kind of obstacles you might come across, because there are obstacles every single day that we have to overcome. So think about what obstacles you would need to overcome, what skills you would need to learn to overcome those obstacles, and then we will share them in just a couple minutes, okay? I will give you guys about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will share those.
Good. Does it look good? Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. It's good. No, it's good. Yeah, because let me see. You have. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Because let me see. It's 152. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
So we'll just have the QA outside or right in the text.
Yeah, I gotta go back. Mhm. Okay.
They'll go to the mics on the side,
Okay, cool.
and then we'll wrap up with where to find you guys.
Okay.
Because I don't know where to find you.
Yours all over the place.
Nobody finds me. That's why I'm going to make myself available.
There you go. Yeah, no problem. This was good. I like it. Yeah.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah.
And while chat isn't active, there's folks in there.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how you know it's working. So, yeah.
Yeah, but the evolving mindsets is from the initial answers to where they are now, but they're grasping and starting to think outside the box. Maybe a 7-minute warning.
Yeah, this is 7-minute warning. 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
All right, we have another minute to wrap up your thoughts with your friends that you have just met. All righty, that was probably less than a minute, but let's go ahead and see if we can share our skill sets and our obstacles. And if you have a question that you would like to ask anybody up here presenting, I ask that for those specific Q&A questions, go to the side microphones. If you would like to share your skill set and your obstacle, I will come to you, okay? So, does anybody have a skill set or obstacle they would like to share? I'll go here and then I'll go here.
So one of the skill sets that I'm really trying to work on, and that I've been doing this entire time since I've been here at TwitchCon, is get better at networking. I know a lot of people in my inner circles of streamers. Like I know a lot of partner streamers, but for me to walk up to someone that I want to collaborate or get to know or kind of help me grow, because I've been wanting to help grow my community. That's been, I'm shifting my focus towards that, because without them, I'm not going to be able to be successful. So that's something that I've personally have been struggling to overcome this weekend.
I think networking is a very big thing to learn, and it can be an obstacle for a lot of us. So thank you for sharing that. Somebody else, oh, here we go.
A huge obstacle, and it's something I've been struggling with, pretty much all my life, is being okay with failing, or actually just, enjoying failure, I guess, because there's always going to be something that's going to tell you no, or tell you that you're not good enough. And that could be very discouraging, or having someone surpass you, whatever. And realizing that, like, when you do fail, it's only an opportunity for you to grow.
I think that's one of my favorite answers because, how many times, I always hear this, how many times did Thomas Edison try to make a light bulb and it only took that one time to be successful? Like he, I think, made like a lot of attempts, and then that one time he did it, ding, it worked great. So yeah, I think being afraid of failure is so hard because you feel like you might be being judged on how you failed or why you failed. But it's always a learning opportunity, Okay, we have one more. And if you have any questions for anybody that's on the panel, feel free to come up to the side.
Like, we all know that social media is really important, but then there's like some of us who like keep scrolling, or Twitter. Every time I want to search for someone, a streamer, there's a news feed, and I click on it, and then I keep scrolling and scrolling, and I just get in an endless, like, wasting time. YouTube keeps recommending me something that I don't want to watch, but I want to watch. So it's like, yes, discoverability has helped a lot, but it's also, I just learned to disconnect from my phone. So I'm trying to figure out how I could just, not waste so much time with these social media platforms that are made to grab our attention.
I think that's a big obstacle for us too, that procrastination monkey that keeps getting on our shoulders. Okay, one more and then we're gonna have to
George
wrap
wants
it
to
up.
say something.
I know, I saw.
He's itching. He's itching.
Find me afterwards.
Hello. I just wanted to, a big obstacle for me is just social anxiety, trying to actually get out of the house and do this kind of stuff. I attended my first ever con, which was a TwitchCon in EU in Berlin, and I actually met this guy who I met over Twitch, and we've been doing a lot of streaming together. And that was kind of the first step into doing something like that. Now, a couple months later, I've plucked up the courage to come all the way out to San Diego, which is, again, a lot further because I live all the way in Dublin, so it's quite a trek for me. So it's like dealing with stuff like that and actually going, I guess, beyond streaming or staying at home and engaging more in real life.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming. That's amazing. Alrighty, wow. We're nearing the end of our time here. Can you guys believe that? Like, I know. And you guys have made so many new friends, right? Yeah. Guys, feel free to talk amongst yourselves after the panel or go outside and talk with us after the panel. A lot of us are very busy and running around like crazy. And I just want to make sure that you have the opportunity to talk to people if you would like to. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. We're going to go through reintroducing ourselves and how you can find us because we have some very busy people up here and definitely want you to be able to contact us after TwitchCon. So my name is Jessica Manrow. That is my full name. I am a partnered broadcaster on Twitch. My handle is Kiriel. It is K-I-R-A-E-Y-L. Kiriel rhymes with imperial, or if you're hungry, it's cereal. So that is me, and I do a lot of things around this industry. If you would like to reach out to me, I would be more than happy to chat with you. All right, let's go to the...
I'm Brandon. Every time I say that, it's weird. But yeah, my name is I Am Brandon. You can find me on Twitter at IamBrandonTV. Unfortunately, I have to leave after this because I'm also working Caboose. But yeah, if you want to reach out about anything, feel free. I'm always available to chat about industry stuff, streaming stuff, since I've been in this industry for like the last 5 years. So yeah.
You should go visit them at the Lightstream booth.
Yeah, that too.
I'm George Dupre. Again, Leviathan Core is my company, and I have a fantastic team who's been running around, and you likely won't see me outside of me being stationed out front for the next 30 minutes after this panel, or however long it takes. I want to make myself available if anybody's got any questions. It's simply because I do a lot of off-site stuff right now, so that's about that.
Dr. Patricia Todd. I'm in the directorate at Western Kentucky University in the Department of Marketing if you want to email me there. I'm also the marketing manager for One Up on Cancer, so I'll be at the One Up on Cancer booth.
Booth
off and on
1937.
today. Huh?
Booth 1937.
Oh, booth 1937, so I'll be there too. So.
Sorry. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming, and thank you to Twitch for having us, and I hope you guys found some value in this panel and helping you achieve your goal and making a roadmap that will get you there. Thank you so much, guys.